All right, what is going on? It's Darian. Today I am going to show you exactly how I built a six-figure consulting business organically using LinkedIn. I've laid out 5 steps very clearly here for you. I'm going to go through each one in detail and kind of show you exactly what you need to be doing and exactly how I did this. But before I get to that, I want to just give you a short little backstory on how I got to where I am right now in the consulting. So when I first got into the online space, I learned copywriting. Like a lot of people, it's a very simple, low barrier to entry point. So I started that while I was in school. And then I started to just really kind of fall in love with the whole marketing, funnel building, the psychology, the persuasion, and all of that cool stuff because I just really liked the skill behind it and the mindset behind all of it. And as I started creating content on LinkedIn and sharing my journey and talking about things I was doing, things I was building, I noticed I started to attract people who were curious to learn more, not just people who were like, hey, I need your copywriting services, right? But people who were kind of just interested in what I was teaching and learning. And so one of the people that I know in the online space who was already fairly successful in ghostwriting launched a cohort. And so I joined his cohort for ghostwriting, and then I started to learn the content side of things. So I learned the copywriting, the funnels, the direct response first, and then I went into the content stuff, and I found that very fascinating as well. And once again, it was all underlying, persuasion, attention, psychology, right? And so I went really deep in that for a couple years of the whole writing and social media and all that stuff. But what happened was I noticed as I was writing content and writing for my clients and doing all that stuff is like, what is the point of this, right? Like, what is the goal with this content? Is it followers? Is it virality? Is it likes? Is it trust? Is it what is it, right? And at the end of the day, what I realized is everyone is trying to get clients and make money. The time it takes, the effort, paying a ghostwriter or a copywriter, it costs money. You want to make money from that, right? And so once I kind of realized this, I kind of shifted my whole perspective on content specifically on LinkedIn to instead of writing for numbers and virality and getting followers, I started writing for the people that I can help, right? And building trust with them and building likability with them and getting them to follow me and want to learn from me and eventually, potentially work with me. But I didn't realize this until I had a bunch of people start reaching out to me. So people started reaching out to me through the DM saying, "Hey, Darian, I would love if you could teach me how to write content that attracts clients," which was really cool for me at the time because most people were talking about going viral and getting likes and getting comments and engagement, right? And so I kind of saw that it was working. And so people were reaching out to me. I was like, "That's sick. Let me explore this further." So then what I did is I kind of created like a small little LinkedIn lead gen program. It was sort of like a beta offer, but people were buying it, and that's sort of the story. So the reason I'm prefacing this whole thing with that is because it was a journey. I had to learn very foundational skills, like the copy, like the content, to be able to actually teach lead gen properly. Because then there's other skills involved as well that you're going to see today, which is outreach, right? Which I had to, learn that skill and all of those things. But really, the foundation of all this is me just packaging this so you know that what I'm going to teach you today to make this money online is not going to be about going viral. I'm not going to be showing you how to write viral content. I'm not going to be talking about getting a bunch of likes and followers. There's tons of people that you can go look for that. I'm not. I'm going to show you how to make money with LinkedIn. That is what I do. That is what I teach all my clients, and that is essentially what I do. So if you like that, let's get to it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start with number one. This is what you do, who you help, how you help them, and why should they choose you, or why do they need your service, right? So let's go through this one by one. And this is what I really got clear on before I could even do anything properly, and what most people aren't clear on. So what you do, this is going to be the delivery vehicle of what you do. So for example, consulting is like what I do. In a nutshell, that's what I do. It's not how I get my clients results, but it's what I do. Okay. So for you, if you're watching this, you could be an email copywriter, you could be a fitness coach, something like that. That's going to be what you do. Okay. So you got to get clear on what is it you actually do. By the way, you're not just a coach, you're not just a writer. Get specific. What type of coaching? What type of writing? You have to get specific. Okay. Who you help. This is arguably the most important, even though they're all important. But who you help is going to be so foundational to your business, because that's how you're going to create your offer and do everything else, right? But who is it you help? You cannot help everyone. So I had to get very clear on who I helped. And you're going to see when we talk about targeted content, right? What are their pains? What are their desires? What do they want? What are they frustrated with? What are they struggling with? Those things, I need to know them inside out for me to be able to do this properly. Okay? Next is like how you help them. So if you're a coach, well, like how are you helping them, right? Are you doing one-to-one? Are you doing group coaching? Do you have a program? Is it async? Is it just a course? Right? Like how are you actually getting them the result? And you want to get clear on this, because that's obviously going to be important with your offer and like how you're marketing yourself. And then finally, why should they choose you? Right? There's a lot of different names for this, right? It's like your USP, unique selling proposition, whatever you want to call it. Why should this person, your who, choose you over everybody else who's offering something similar? Now, of course, when we get to creating the offer, you want to create an offer that's somewhat different, not the same as everyone else. But for the most part, you want to understand like, why are you different and why should they choose you? So I had to go really deep, and this one took a lot of testing for me as well. I wasn't just able to sit there and be like, oh, this is why I'm different, right? I really had to sit there, take something, test it. Oh, I had people in the DM saying, oh, like this sounds the same as every other consulting. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's good feedback. So you're gonna have to test this, see if it actually is relevant, do some market research for your competitors, stuff like that. But those are the 4 things that you're gonna wanna start with to build, and this, that I started with to build my business to 6 figures through LinkedIn, right? Very foundational. Number 2, of course, is going to be very foundational as well, is I created an offer, of course, right? But I couldn't create an offer if I didn't know who it was for, of course, right? Or how I helped them and all of these things. So I created an offer. Now, if you haven't read Alex Hormozi's book, $100 Million Offers, or read up on Dan Kennedy as well, they go deep into offer creating these things. Highly suggest reading both of them. But this is going to be really important, obviously, because you can't do business if you don't have an offer, right? So essentially, your offer is going to be, you want it to be something that's not just different from everyone else doing something, but you want to make it seem so valuable to them that no matter what they're paying for it, they still feel like they're getting a deal. Okay. So for example, the first offer that I created, when I told you, people started DMing me, right? They started asking me questions about, hey, can you help me do this? It was just a pack of 4 calls. And I put together some like Notion documents. And on the call, I would just teach them the document, and then they could just keep the document. And it was a pack of 4 calls, and I sold it for $500, right? I just created an offer, like, hey, this is what I think they need. And then once I started doing that, people were like, hey, I really wish that you covered this. Or, hey, could you go deeper on this? And so I made it better. Over time, I made the offer better, made it better. But the reason I'm telling you that story and that example is because your offer doesn't have to be perfect in the beginning. You're going to do the best you can based off everything you do here. Like, who are they? Why should they choose you? Why do they need this? And then make it better over time, right? So the good news about this is it takes a lot of pressure off of you, not feeling like you have to create this perfect offer from the beginning. But you do need an offer, of course, to do business online. Number 3, very important, kind of like I prefaced at the beginning of this as well, is I wrote targeted content. Okay? I wrote targeted content. What I mean by targeted content is it was for this person. If you go on LinkedIn or pretty much any social media platform these days, everyone's trying to go viral. Everyone's trying to get followers and get famous, whatever, right? That is not what I did. I went the opposite route. I started writing content for the one person who needs my offer, right? And guess what I did? I started to attract those people. Yes, my likes went down. All my vanity metrics went down. But I started making more money and making money. So writing targeted content. So what this essentially is, of course, it's for this person, but what you want your content to do is either bring them closer to a desire or away from pain. And the only way you're going to know what their pains are is by studying your who, and what their desires are is by studying your who. So every single piece of content, like I knew. So for example, if you take pregnant women, right? If that's like who you're helping, they're going to have completely different pains, frustrations, problems, desires than, let's say, a 40-year-old man who's trying to get a six pack with low testosterone, right? Completely different problems, fears, pains, all of these things. That's why it's so important to understand your who. And then once you understand that, you can start writing content for them. Now, another thing that I want to really talk about when we're talking about writing the content is you really want to share your values, share your beliefs, and your worldviews in this content. Because what that's going to do is, especially if you add like personal stories and personal angles and experience behind those, is it's going to give a glimpse into you, who you are, why they should choose you, but also if it's relevant to them, it's going to be like they're going to feel so much more aligned to work with you. So here's what I mean. If I were to tell you the reason I got started in online business was because I really just wanted to take care of my mom and my grandpa, right? That's why I got into online business. I wanted to make enough money to take care of my family. You'd be like, that would tell you a lot about my values and my worldview, my beliefs. Family is important to me, right? I care about others, these things, right? It's going to show you that. But if for the same thing, if I told you, hey, I got started in online business because I really wanted a nice watch and I wanted a sick car to post on Instagram, what is that going to tell you about me and my beliefs and my values and my worldview, right? So just telling these stories, my personal experience, is going to show you so much about me, who I am, how I view the world, what I care about. And here's the best part. When you share those things, you're going to attract the people who have those same things. So now when you're working with your clients, they're all going to feel aligned. They're going to be people like you, similar to you, that you want to help or work with, right? Makes sense. Think about this as just a magnet, like a lighthouse. A lighthouse is even better. The content you're putting out is you're trying to attract the people that you can help, but also the people that you're aligned with, share similar values, worldviews, all that stuff. Cool. Number 4, outreach. You can see in parentheses here, I said prioritize warm. So once you start writing targeted content, you will start to have people who follow you, like it, comment on it, view your profile, connect with you. You always want to start with the warm. Warm, if you don't understand, cold and warm, cold means absolute stranger. Warm means they're already somewhat familiar with you or your service, or they know who you are. So the more, like the longer they've been following you, the more they've been engaging with you, the warmer they are. So of course you want to prioritize the people who already know you, the people who are already commenting on your content and following you and stuff like that. So once you start writing this content, you'll notice people will start engaging with you, following you. You want to start reaching out to those people. Okay. Now, I understand in the beginning, if you have a small audience, you're not going to get a ton of warm, right? Which is fine. You are going to do cold. By cold, what I'm saying is you're going to connect with people who seem like they're your who, okay? And then engage with their content. And then once they accept, you're going to shoot them a message. Now, the messaging is going to be slightly different between the cold and warm, but ideally the concept is going to be the same. Here's what you're going to do. When you reach out to these people, you're going to make it personalized. Your first message has to be personalized. There's going to be a lot of people probably here on YouTube teaching LinkedIn outreach that it's just numbers like spam. That's not what I teach. I teach personalized, go deeper, less is more, right? So personalize that first message. So I would say like, hey, Kevin, right? I saw your last post about mindset productivity, right? I really like the part you said about, you know, time blocking. I really need to add that. Figured I'd reach out to connect. Very simple, right? You're just reaching out. You're saying his name, but not just his name, because so much software, automation software nowadays can add a name. You're talking about their post and a takeaway you add, right? And that's just going to start a conversation with people where it's going to be so refreshing. You don't know how many of me, like for me or my clients who do this, the people respond saying, holy, this is so refreshing to get somebody who's actually looked at my profile, actually seems to care about me and isn't just spamming me, right? And then all you want to do once you start this conversation with the warm first and then do cold, especially if you don't have enough warm, right, is after they respond to your first message, all you're going to do, right, is see if they need help, right, and then qualify them. See if they need help. What I mean by that is, are they even looking for help? Like you'd be surprised. Well, you probably wouldn't even be surprised if you're on LinkedIn, but how many people reach out to me asking me to join something or just pitch me right away when they don't even know if I need it, right? So what you want to do is you want to start talking to them and seeing, like, for example, if I'm a fitness coach, right? I would ask them like, hey, like, do you have any, fitness goals for the new year? Are you planning on joining a gym soon? Or just trying to see if they're even like in the headspace of looking for what your solution is. Okay. Once you do that, you want to qualify them. So each business is going to have different qualifiers, right? Typically it's going to be like, can they afford you? Um, maybe it's a certain follower count depending on what your offer is. Or like, let's say you're email copywriter, right? If they don't have an email list, well, they're not going to be qualified. So for what you're going to do, once again, just to summarize this, is you're going to personalize your first message, prioritize warm, then do cold, personalize the first message. The second message, start talking to them, or not even the second message, but the second phase, seeing if they need help. And then third, qualify them. And then that's going to lead you to number 5. Okay. Pushed everyone to a call. This is what I did. I pushed everyone to a call. So essentially, everyone who responded to my personalized message, needed help, was qualified, I pushed them to a call, right? I'm like, hey, I can help you with that. That's exactly what I help with. Do you want to hop on a quick call and I can, give you can position this however you want. I positioned it as a strategy call. So I told them like, hey, let's hop on this call. I will give you some like information, a roadmap to help you solve this problem. And then from there, we can see if it makes sense to move forward together or not. So everyone who got on the call, I would, start talking to them about their problems. What are they struggling with? Where are they trying to go? Whatever. Gave them some free advice. So even after the call, they had action steps they could take. So they still got something from the call. And then if it made sense for us to move forward, we moved forward. I know it might sound oversimplified, right? It's like sales alone, could be a whole training program, right? But what I'm saying is this is what I did. There's a lot of little things in between, like outreach. There's going to be mental blocks you're going to have with outreach, right? I don't like to feel salesy. I don't like pitching people, right? Writing content. It's like, oh, what if people don't like it? What if I get no likes? Like each one, there's going to be objections in your mind and resistance from your own identity and your own mindset. But this is what I did. Okay, this is it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's literally it. And then consistency and iteration. This is so important. Obviously, I started because you have to do this consistently. You have to write content consistently. You have to do outreach consistently. You have to push for the calls. You have to iterate on your offer and all of this based off what people are telling you. So for example, if you get on 100 calls and nobody buys, it's your offer. Even if you suck at sales, chances are it's your offer, right? Because 100 people, nobody buys, right? So what you want to do is do this consistently, do 3, 4, and 5 consistently, and that's how you're going to iterate on 1 and 2. And then also what you're going to notice over time is all of this is going to be refined and you're going to get better at writing content. You're going to get better at outreach and you're just going to start booking more calls and landing more clients. Now, the biggest thing I want you to take away from this is like all of this, number 1, what, who, how, why, needs to be in all your marketing. It needs to be on your profile. It needs to be on your website. Even in your content, it needs to be clear, like who is it for? How are you helping people? What do you do? Why should they choose you? It's not just like your profile on your website. It should reflect in your content. People should know, especially with your profile, okay? People need to know within 3 to 5 seconds of landing on your profile, these 4 things. So your headline, your banner, it needs to be very clear what you do, who you help, how do you help them, okay? Very important. And then your offer, of course, the only way to iterate on your offer is, based off feedback. Is it selling? Like I told you, the example I gave you with the workshops that I did, people told me, hey, you're missing this, or I would love if this was in here, or could you go deeper on this? And then I made the offer better. And now I have a whole 12-week program teaching, leaders and creatives how to make money using LinkedIn and grow to 6 figures organically. And it all started with 4 calls teaching people just how to write content to attract clients. So those are the 5 steps. Very, very important. I know some of you may have been hoping for some viral hack or some cool, trendy thing. I know like none of this is groundbreaking. It's like, oh, do content, do outreach. But this is literally it. This is it. If you can just get better at each of these and refine these top two and get better at 3, 4, and 5 every single day, if your goal is to just get better at these, you will have a 6-figure business faster than I even did, because I had to kind of figure this out as I was going. In the beginning, I was writing for followers. I was writing for likes. A lot of my clients still are coming to me like, Darian, my likes are down. What do I do? I'm like, ignore it. Focus on the metrics that matter, like warm leads from your content. How many people are connecting with you, following you, those types of things. So that's all I got for you today. If you want me to go deeper on all this and do like a full deep dive masterclass on each one of these and like more in depth, like how to do it, leave me a comment below, let me know, and I will. Today I wanted to go over this and see if this is like even something that you guys, wanted, and how helpful this really was. So yeah, if you do want that, let me know in the comments and I'll do a full in-depth course on this. Cool. Peace.